record it up on the cloud. So we are going to be talking about building a funnel, understanding a funnel, creating an awesome online experience for you and your clients. What I mean by this is, so when I met Brandon, he just kept dumping and dumping and dumping wisdom on me. And I was like, dude, I can't keep up fast enough. Can I record it? And he said, sure. And I have spent the last week unpacking not only his little process, but the bigger overall umbrella, and seeing where I've made mistakes in the past on my client engagement, my client involvement. And so that's why I asked Brandon to jump in and join us. Brandon, you have the main stage while I go over and double check the Facebook.
All right. Sounds good. So what I thought we could do is I'm going to open up the back end of my software. I'm using Kajabi today. Now, what I'm going to show you, it could be created in Kajabi. It could be created partially in ClickFunnels. It could be created in Kartra. So it's not necessarily, hey, you must use Kajabi. But that being said, I do want to just highlight the fact that Kajabi can be used for complete funnels, webinar funnels, follow-up sequences, course platform, digital delivery, the works. So I thought, based on a few comments that I've seen from people, we're going to take a look at two of my funnels. The first one is going to be, if you don't have anything set up yet, you don't have lead capture, or maybe you have like just a landing page and nothing else, I'm going to show you, hey, this would be the #1 funnel that you would want to start with. And in fact, this is what I teach all my students as well. Like, hey, this is the first thing that you're going to build. I'm going to show you the whole progression as well as all the landing pages and all the pretty looking stuff. Okay.
So one question I want to, so I'm going to interrupt only.
Yeah, go for it. Definitely.
In the room. So I don't need landing pages, that other tool thing that I have to pay $49.99 a month or whatever for.
Yeah, if you have Kajabi or Kartra for that matter, you have landing page capability. So if, like, let's say, for example, you have lead pages, that's a popular one. Nothing wrong with lead pages. But if you also have Kajabi, you have a redundant software. You have two things that are serving one function.
And let's understand, you guys, redundant means expense.
Yes.
Or expensive.
So probably most of those watching today have some sort of redundancy somewhere, and you can probably save yourself $100 to $300 a month just in eliminating some of your redundant software. Last week, I saved myself $150 a month just by getting rid of a few things that I realized I'm not even using these. So why am I just flushing money down the toilet every month? So anyway, all that to say, after the first funnel, I'm going to show you my second one, which is a live webinar funnel. So evergreen webinars are all the rage. Like, everybody loves that. It's so popular. But creating an evergreen webinar from scratch is not only time consuming and frustrating, but it's really expensive. And it's super difficult to nail on the first round, unless you're just like a copywriting unicorn and you're already like a master at this stuff. Well, otherwise,
live though, you also get real-time feedback of what to create for lesson 2, or this came up during lesson 1, and before we move in, I want to make sure we address it. So even then, you're building a better product in the process.
Exactly. Plus, your live webinar, now you can get a feel for, hey, what is this thing converting at? So you create it, you get a feel for it, and if it's got a high conversion rate, then you can talk about, okay, maybe we need to transition this to evergreen and also pump a bunch of money behind it for paid traffic. So with all that said, let's dive right in here. I want to give you guys a quick intro. This is the back end of my signature program called the Online Coach Creator. Just as a side note, before Eric and I talked about simplifying your program offering, right? Whenever I get a new person in the program, we first focus on your one signature offering, then we add the other 2 or 3 offerings that go along with that, but always beginning with one signature offering. So mine is called the Online Coach Creator. This is just so you get a glimpse of the back end here. I've got the product outline, the welcome module, phase 1, phase 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down. So this would be the product that my students access. And if we want to take a look at the front end here, just out of sheer curiosity. This is what it looks like on the front end. Here's all the lessons. You scroll down, see, here they are, boom. They go into one of these lessons, just pick one at random here, and then they watch the training module here, and then I always include a little field work. They click there, it redirects them to a Google document. They can go file, make a copy, then they get their own copy that they can edit and everything. And then I get a shared folder for each one of my clients. They upload their field work so that I can constantly see the progress that they're making as they progress through the program. So
I want to stop because for you, this seems very like, this is the way you should do it. What I liked when you showed me this was if I have, and I forgot how many structures you had here, I might engage a one client at level 4.2. And I've already got the program, I've got the idea, I've got their homework, and we might begin at 4.2 and sit there for 3 or 4 months because that's who they are. But when I create this for the group model, everybody will start at 1.1 and work their way through. And the way I raise both engagement for my one-on-ones and my group is by having them finish a field work and then commit to uploading it to their Google Drive prior to the next call if it's a group one, or if it's one-on-one, they can't book their next one-on-one appointment unless their homework's done.
yes, exactly. And that's a great point because one part of the power of one-on-one and private coaching is that they do get to go through at their own pace. And as the coach, I know what their milestones need to be at any given time. And if they're behind, I can kind of give them a little boost and say, hey, you want to schedule another session, that's great, but I got to have you complete 4.2, 5.2, whatever the module is that you're on, complete that first, then fill out the pre-session questionnaire. Then we're going to meet so that on our session, we can make much faster progress rather than only making progress on each subsequent coaching call. So yeah, that's an awesome point.
And what I want to point out, you guys, by the way, I'm watching for comments on a different stream. So if you have comments or questions, go ahead and pop them in there and I will get to them as we scroll through. Understand that as a coach, often you show up at that first call and you spend 10 or 15 minutes in the, what did we get to talk about mode? What's been happening? And your value as a coach is really being evaluated by the client of what they get out of it. So even before they show up, they feel like they have a value add because of the homework and the discovery that they did, as Brandon calls it, in the field work. It gives you a starting point. And then as a wrap up, so often, and I'll say from personal experience, it's like, how do we wrap up this call? Oh, I can now talk about where we're going next and the homework related. So don't overlook that piece of having a field work, having an assignment, having, the most basic task where you get to see it first before you step in.
Yeah. And it's also a reassurance to the client that as the coach, you have an overarching process. Now, the application is always individual, but there is a broader spectrum process that you are applying to each individual situation. So let's take a look at the basic funnel, the first one that you build. Now, as we dig into this, I'm going to assume that you either already have some sort of lead magnet ready to go, or you are working on one, okay? And let me just...
We're going to do a 30-second define a lead magnet.
That's a good point. So the lead magnet,
another magnet that you use to attract a lead.
Yep, you got it.
And let's not make a lead magnet that's like how to sew your grandmother's quilt if you're a health and fitness person.
Right. So the idea with the lead magnet is it helps your client, your ideal client, take the first step that they would have to take if they're going to work with you. So my lead magnet, just to kind of give you a quick glimpse here, this is how to get your first 10 online coaching clients. So if you scroll down, it's very clear. Break through the top 5 barriers to launch your online coaching business and enroll your first 10 clients. Simple, right? Then I go through the barriers one at a time. Every barrier, I give you an action step that you could potentially take on your own. Most people won't take these on their own, which is why they need some kind of support or coaching or program. And then we go all the way through here, all 5 barriers. And then I give them a brief overview of what it's like to work with me. So that's my lead magnet. Whatever you create, it should be an item of value that helps your client take that first small step forward. Now, what I'm doing over here, this is my landing page. It says how to get your first 10 online coaching clients without the struggle, consistent messaging between the headline on my landing page and the title of the deliverable that they end up getting. Very important, already starting to build trust within the process. Then I talk about what it is. Basically, you're going to steal my system by using my blueprint to build your business. And then I give them 4 to 5 really strong value statements, because even if it's free, they still need a reason to download it, right? So I quickly tell them, hey, this is what you're going to get if you go through and implement this item that you're about to download. So they put their first name here, email, they click get the clients. When they click, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So you guys remember, we talk about this all the time. What is the problem I solve? Lack of clients. How do I solve it? Through this system that you see here below. Why do you want to be engaged? Because the end result will be these 4 or 5 bullet things.
Yep, you got it. So they submit their info here. And by the way, landing page built in Kajabi. So if I went into the Kajabi backend here, and on the left-hand column, I've got my website, and I go to page builder. Here's all the different pages that I've built. And there's more, there's another page too, but here's all the different pages I have running inside of my Kajabi account. So I can select from any one of these and boom, there it is. Okay. So they opt in for that. They are going to go on my follow-up email sequence, which I'll show you that in a second. But right after they opt in, they get redirected to a thank you page, which is this right here. Super straightforward, right? Blank page, little welcome video. It's about 2 minutes from me. And it also gives them the option to book a strategy call directly from the thank you page. So I'm not waiting for the email sequence to capture that call. I'm trying to get another opportunity to capture that. In fact, if I can pull this up here, this would be good to take a look at. Where did it go? I think it's this one. Sorry, I didn't already have this opened up, but this is the basic funnel sequence that I'm talking about right now. This is just the sort of the overview, right? You've got your traffic source. Here's your landing page, and then it redirects right to a thank you page. If they were to click on the thank you page, they can go schedule page and then right to a call with you. Otherwise, after they opt in at the landing page, they get redirected to an email follow-up sequence, and the email follow-up sequence eventually also redirects them to the scheduling page and ending up on a call with you. So
Okay.
the ideal with this client journey is that they're going to go from the landing page, which has the item of value for them, and they're going to eventually end up on a call with you.
So what I want to point out to you guys, I know this looks very complicated, like where do I get this widget and where do I get this piece and how do I schedule? Traffic source, Facebook, landing page.
Yep.
You could create it through any variety of means. I know that I can create landing pages in Drip, and Drip is actually free for under so many email people. This top sequence, I'm pointing at my screen like you guys can see it.
Yeah.
This top sequence of follow-up emails, they don't have to be automated. If you have 0 clients and you're looking at trying to get 10, you should be able to manage 10 emails to people on a regular list, even if you have to post it on a sheet of paper on your desk.
Yep.
Same thing with the thank you page can be a simple email with a Google video embedded or a YouTube video embedded. And the schedule page can be Calendly, I never pronounced that correctly, and that is also free up to a certain number of users. So don't think I have to abandon the call right now, I can't be on the training, I don't have all these tools. Look at the process, study the process. Don't get confused by the technology. And, you know, Brandon, we had this conversation. Don't get confused by the wonderful photos and all the great images, because Brandon's wife is a professional photographer. So of course he has access to 50,000. You can use stock photos. You can use stock imaging. Don't get distracted. Look at what you need to accomplish. You need to get people on a call to buy your product.
Yeah. You got, and that's a great, just kind of as a side note here regarding photographs. I mean, that photo that I had on the landing page, that is a stock photo. And if you don't know about this, unsplash.com, if you've ever been to this one, this is just one of many, but unsplash.com, awesome, awesome resource. If I wanted to, I could say, if I want an office picture, there we go. I get tons of office pictures. If I've got, if I'm in the fitness niche, I can type in fitness. There's some people doing running, drinking water. This guy, I've used this photo so many times because they're great pictures. So anyway, sorry, that's besides the point. So they get redirected to this thank you page. Now I'm going to put them on my follow-up email sequence. Now this email sequence, this is inside of Kajabi again. So I'm giving them, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 emails over the course of 5 days. And you'll notice that my open rates, well, the first one's great, 61% open rate, 47% click. That means almost half of the people that requested the download actually downloaded the thing that they requested. But even further along, you'll notice I get 26% and higher open rates. Now, since I put this sequence inside of Kajabi, it's tracking my little stats here for me. First 10 online coaching clients blueprint, I've sent 441, 61% have opened that email, 47% have downloaded the thing. If I open up that first email, here it is. Super simple, right? Welcome to the family. Here's your blueprint on how to get your first 10 online coaching clients. And then I just talk about, hey, you're going to get a few emails from me over the next few days. I ask them to hit reply and tell me what their goals are for the next 3 months. I get usually per month, I get just a few replies from people, but it allows me to connect with people directly. And very often that leads to me friend requesting them on Facebook and bringing them into my ecosystem over there as well. So what I'm trying to accomplish is, number one, they download their thing, but also they get an invitation to join my Facebook group as well. So I'm creating a whole nurture ecosystem. So it's my Facebook page, it's my Facebook group, it's connecting with people on my personal profile, it's getting them to opt into my thing, it's downloading my thing. So there's all these different pieces that come together that contribute to people getting on the phone with me. I've had people opt in for this lead magnet, join my group, and 6 months later respond to something that I post in the group, and then we get on a call together. So yes, there's an immediate need for clients, but there's also the nurture and the long game, pulling people into that little world that you're creating, offering value, booking the call.
I love the term nurture ecosystem as opposed to a sales ecosystem. It's like, I need to nurture them. And nowhere in this first email does it say, oh, by the way, the deal is closing at midnight. It's half price. If you don't act now, you're a complete idiot.
Right. No, nothing like that. Especially if you're doing like a high ticket one-on-one private coaching program, it's always to get on a call, because that's the only way you're going to close a deal over $2,000. All right. So clear as mud, right?
You're doing, I've got 4 pages of notes. I don't know what anybody else has.
Just to take one more quick look at that funnel, this is the basic structure. And for the sake of watching this video today, all you really need to keep in mind is landing page, thank you page, email sequence. If you understand those 3 things and how they work together, you're going to be good to go. Because as long as you have just one lead magnet is all you need. I mean, I have multiple lead magnets that I offer occasionally, but this one has resulted in more new leads getting into my ecosystem than anything else.
Well, and it's silly when I say silly, that landing page doesn't have to even be a huge, I mean, if you run enough Facebook posts where you say, I'm offering this class, click here to sign up, you've almost created like the free version of a landing page. Probably not as effective, probably not as easy on the lead tracking. But again, I know there's some people that have been daunted about building a business because to buy Kajabi totally wiped out their budget. And so I want to remind them that if you have nothing, getting 1 or 2 new clients is 200% growth in your business.
Yes, exactly.
So let's not let technology stop us from growing our business by 200 or 300% by doing it a little more manually.
Yes. Yeah, that's an awesome point. So the next funnel that I want to share with you all, because I know that there were a few people asking about webinar funnels. So this one specifically will be the live webinar funnel. Now I'll tell you in advance, my webinar is actually happening tomorrow and it's booked out. So my Zoom account, it allows me up to 100 guests when I host a webinar. And over the last 2 weeks, I've filled up 100 slots into that webinar. So the funnel I'm going to show you is how do you book 100 people into your live webinar? Because 100 people, like, you're going to get something, right? Like, someone's either going to
Even
join your full
1%
program, buy
conversion of
something else.
100 would give you the 10 you need. So yeah.
Right, exactly. And this also is within Kajabi. Okay, you can build out pipelines. Now, a pipeline is a full sequence of it's a full process that you take your clients on. Now, you'll notice this particular pipeline has had 370 visitors. So that's actually a really good conversion rate, meaning of the 370 people that have visited this pipeline in one shape or another, 100 of them ended up registering for the live webinar.
So one
So
in three people
yeah,
found
look,
value
yeah,
on the
one
start
in
of the
three and a half.
pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. 1 in 3.72
Yeah, yeah.
found value in the pipeline enough to want to engage with you at a future date.
Yep.
Historically, of those 100, how many do you expect to be in the room?
I have no idea. This is the first time I've done it like this,
Okay.
meaning I had a combination of warm and cold traffic. So I was running, part of my strategy on this was I was actually running paid ads to my warm custom Facebook audience. It was still paid ads, but it was to a custom audience that had already seen some of my stuff before. So I wasn't completely unfamiliar to them. So I'm expecting a pretty high show up rate. Typically with an evergreen webinar from a cold audience, your show up rates are pretty low and even lower for the people who stay and watch the whole thing. So fingers crossed, I'm hoping for 75% show rate or higher. If I get that, I'll be stoked.
And we're
So,
not going to talk about it, you guys, but you need to ask the people that are trying to sell you Facebook ads, where are we targeting them? Are they warm Facebook ads? Are they people that have engaged with me in the past that are specifically interested, not only what I talk about, but what other people like me talk about? Those are the only ones I want to see this, because that's a warm. A cold is every guy that has 2 legs that's between 25 and 55 that lives in the US. Your
yeah,
conversion
anyone
rate
can set that
is
up.
0.
I can go into Facebook and set that up in 10 minutes.
Yeah. So we're not going to talk about the Facebook ad part. Sorry, we're stuck. We're in here. Keep going, because I'm just
So now
I'm
this
freaking
is
out.
the model of the pipeline. And you'll see it goes registration page, follow-up sequence, confirmation page, replay page, which I'll post that after the event, the sales page, and then an offer checkout. Now, this is it looks really straightforward, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. I'm going to show you what's inside of each one of those 6 steps. So Kajabi just gives you, hey, like a general outline. Here's what it looks like. Then here's your registration page. Not a lot there, right? Hey, free live webinar, create, launch, and sell your online coaching program. Demolish the top 5 barriers to online growth and create your freedom lifestyle. That is what I'm going to be teaching for 60 minutes on the live webinar. Obviously, 60 minutes is not a lot of time to cover all of that, but we're going to cover as much as we possibly can. If they click reserve my spot, again, this is all inside Kajabi, simple pop-up, first name, last name, email, submit, boom, they're registered. Now, on the back end, I connected this to Zoom. So they're also registered through Zoom when they register here on Kajabi. That's just a basic integration that you can set up. So I'll get this out. When you register, then you get redirected to the confirmation page. Did I open that up? No, I'll open up the confirmation. Here's what the confirmation page looks like. It just says, thank you, check your email, here's the countdown, 1 day and 25 minutes. Boom, there you go. So they get the confirmation. Then they're gonna go into this is the email sequence here. So that's this part, the little blue square there. The first email is at the time of registration, and it just says, thanks for registering. Here's the details. Here's what we'll be covering. To your success, Coach Brandon. Boom. Now, they're going to get a sequence. 2 days before the event, they get this one. 1 day before the event, which is actually in about 25 minutes, they're going to get this email. And then 15 minutes before the event, they're going to get this one as well. Then we have the event. Then they're going to get 12 hours after, 1 day after, 2 days after, 3 days after, 4 days after. Because for me, the event is on the 26th, and I'm running a time-bound discount until the 30th. So through the end of the month, they get a little promo code if they want to opt in for the thing that I'm highlighting, which is a group coaching program. So then they attend the webinar, and here's the email they get 12 hours after the event. In case you missed yesterday's webinar, I've posted the replay and am giving all webinar registrants exclusive access for the next 48 hours only. Click here to access the replay. If they click there, they get to watch the replay, and then they're going to get the rest of the emails anyway. Then 1 day after the event, it prompts them if they haven't purchased the thing yet, which, by the way, if they buy this program, they automatically get removed from this sequence. I've included that as well. I forgot to mention that. So if they haven't bought yet, they can click here and they're going to get redirected to, this is a sales page. Again, landing page that I built inside of Kajabi. So it explains what the program is. It has a nice little 6-7 minute video from me that kind of just walks them through what the overview of the program is again. Lets them know, hey, you're going to save $1,000 with promo code launch if you enroll before September 30th. Here's how they can enroll. I put a few testimonials on there. Remember we talked about process, your coaching process. I put like a big picture overview of the 5 phases of what I coach them through. Then I give them, hey, here's what I use to grow my business. And we're going to go through all of this stuff. So here's everything that we get to cover. In case they're not convinced yet that it's going to be a great program, I just walk them through all of this stuff. A couple more testimonials, walk them through the 30-day money-back guarantee, and then they got 5 days to do the promo code launch. If they click on any of the buttons or here, it redirects them to the checkout page, also built inside of Kajabi, and they can just type in their promo code here. Simple as that. Enter their info, complete the purchase, and one more time, they get the full rundown of what's inside the program. So this looks like a lot of stuff, but the trick is most of this content, probably 90% of it, is repurposed content from other places. So I scripted out my whole live webinar, which that's really the time intensive part, but all of that content, I just copy paste most of it onto my checkout page, onto my sales page. It was the script for my sales page video right here that I shot. So basically what I'm saying is it looks like a lot of stuff, but you really just create it once and then you just put it in different places. The benefit is it saves you time, and now your messaging is consistent throughout the entire process. So from the opt-in to the emails, to the webinar, to the sales page, to the checkout, everything stays consistent the whole way through.
So what I think is, what I love about this is you guys don't start with trying to build the funnel, build the thing. What am I going to teach during that hour webinar?
There you go.
And now that you've got it written, even if you don't have it written, record it for the hour, and then start pulling out and highlighting the bits that you're like, man, that's a gut nugget. That's what I need to do in my copy. That's what I need to do on my funnel. That's the 4 bullet points that I need them to go through. We tend to try and create all of this stuff and then say, okay, now I got to go create the course. And we get stranded, like, what should I say the course is about? Well, clearly you haven't even figured it out. So why are you trying to sell it? Now, there is that school of thought, don't build it all until they come, but at least build the first class or first 3 or 4 classes in your head and on paper, because your client or future client is going to want to feel consistent. Like, wait, you promised me this, and now we're talking about this weird thing way over here. So keep it together. But the simplicity of this, I know it looks like a lot. When I saw it the first time with Brandon, I was just like, well, I took a nap afterwards, but it was really my head defragging from all the information. But it really isn't that big of a deal because it's just a bunch of blocks and pictures with text in it. It's understanding what you're trying to get people to do as you go through it. So go back in, because Sean, I'm over here looking at the questions.
Yeah.
Can you dive in? Sean, if you have a question direct about the webinar, because this is what he wants, he tuned in for, let me know, Sean, but kind of walk through what you would do evergreen webinar versus 10-can videos and why this is the easier model for building out a business.
You mean how would I restructure the funnel if I was doing an evergreen webinar?
I'm sorry, why you're doing a live versus an evergreen.
Oh, why I'm doing it. So I'm doing the live webinar first to test how well the messaging converts. So the reason I do it that way is because I know I've already got a pretty warm audience. There's going to be some cold audience in there too, but it's mostly a warm audience of people that I'm messaging to. So if I present this webinar to a warm audience of my ideal client, the question is, does it convert? If it does convert, then I have validated my offer, because what I'm offering on this webinar is the group coaching only version of my program. That's why it's only $997 versus my signature program, which is $8,700 paid in full or $9,900 split pay. So it's a very different offering. So I want to see, does this convert into sales from a warm audience if they've just went through a 60-minute webinar with me? If it does, then I'm going to transition it over to an evergreen webinar that follows. Then I have to build out, that's the whole separate conversation. I have to build up like a warm-up nurture sequence leading into the webinar, which is a different funnel, which incidentally, you can also build within Kajabi. Let me just, I'll just pull it up real quick.
Just says, do it live to dial it in, and when it gets converts, or when it converts, you make it evergreen. What is considered a decent conversion rate? I mean, like I got 100 people, 70 of them showed up on the live training, X number of them moved through the funnel. Now, some people would say 1 is good.
If I can convert 30% of the people who stay to the end of the webinar, I'm going to be happy.
How do is there a way you're tracking how many stay to the end of the webinar? Or are you just sort of watching your Zoom?
Yeah, I don't have the automation for that set up right now. You can do that. Like that's advanced tracking, right? Like when you get into evergreen webinars and tracking, like who showed up, who stayed for half, who stayed for 75%, who stayed for what. That's all like way further down the road. I don't even need to track those stats yet at this point. But yeah, I mean, if I figure if 100 registered, if 75 show up, if I can get 25 to buy out of those 75, assuming they all stay to the end, maybe a few trickle off here and there, maybe let's say 60 stay to the end and 20 buy out of the 60. For me, that's a huge win. I mean, we're talking about a $1,000 product here. So if I can get 20 people to buy and yeah, the webinar was only an hour, but it took me about 3 weeks of prep time. But to me, that's a pretty good return. Like 3 weeks of 3 weeks of work for a $20,000 payday. That sounds good to me anyway.
And then I'm sure there's going to be that group that says, I want to go faster. Can I up level? And I'm sure you've built that into the business model.
Right, exactly. Everybody who opts in for this 997 program, that's a potential upgrade to the full one-on-one coaching program.
So you talked about hosting it live, and they're automatically sent the Zoom link, or they automatically register in Zoom. Talk that piece through, because I know a lot of people are trying to figure out, how do I host a webinar without having to get 10 other things involved?
Yeah. So what I did, I'm only using Zoom to host my webinar. So Zoom has an upgrade. It's I think it's an extra $40 a month for up to 100 webinar registrants. And I set it up through Zapier. So let me just get
So for
into
you
my.
that don't know, Zapier is like a if this, then that. So if somebody registers for this, then do that action.
So what I set up was, when this happens, new form submission in Kajabi, and I connected that to my Kajabi account and the live webinar registration form. When that happens, then do this, create a registrant in Zoom. So if you log into Zoom and you go to your webinar section, you create a new webinar, and it's got your list of everybody who's registered. I can pull that up too here just for interest's sake.
I told you guys this was going to be a whole lot of stuff. I've got people like just begging, like, can he talk? Like,
well, that's why we're recording it. You can go and review this for the next week.
I told them it wasn't guaranteed because I forgot to ask. So Sean is asking, what is your thought on the number of emails that should be in the follow-up sequence after the webinar? How long do you chase them, and at what frequency? I think.
Yeah, so my sequence after the webinar, I have 5 emails. The first one is 12 hours after, and that's for the replay. And then I have 4 emails, 24 hours apart each. That's one day. So September 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. And they all offer the program in a different form. So one is this sales page, little shorter form. One is the massive sales page. One is like a personalized video from me, but I put in each one of these, and I did one, I'm like, hey, this is time sensitive. It actually is. It's not one of these like fake time sensitivity things. And I say, hey, if you're still not 100% sure, I wrote this letter for you, all this good kind of stuff. Registration closing soon. And then the last one, I just said, hey, last call. So this would be 4 days after the live event. And like, look, this is the last time it's going to be available at this rate. After that, after 4 days, probably they're not going to buy as a result of the live webinar. They need to get into a different sequence or nurture campaign of mine.
So, and I've seen this happen to me personally, and seen other people set it up. Is like they'll go through this sequence, and out of an absolute sense of desperation, it's like, well, I'm going to move you to my newsletter so we can stay engaged, or I'm going to do this. And it's sort of like, clearly I didn't want to date you. I stopped responding. Please leave. Where do you put them when you get to the bottom of this? And I know you don't officially abandon them, but how do you ask permission to stay engaged?
So they go on my main list, but they don't get subscribed to any sequences. So if I was going to send out an email blast that was just like to offer them a something, then they'll receive that. But that's about it.
So,
And
in the
then
sense of,
typically
oh,
every
I
email blast, I get
I've
about
seen it
1%
again.
unsubscribe.
Sean has another question. First, he says, I love that you're using buongiorno. You might want to explain what that is while I read his next question.
Yep.
Um,
So getting back to the Zap here that I created, after they get registered in Zoom, You can view your registrants here. Oh, it looks like I got 99. So there is one spot available. You were asking me before if there's a spot. So there
You
is
all
one
are going
more
to
if
be
anybody
rushing. I mean,
if
I
anybody
guarantee you
wants it.
Sean is probably rushing to get into that
But
stuff.
you can view everybody here that's registered. And I actually followed up with everybody with a personalized Facebook Messenger message as well. But that's a manual step that I did along the way. But then after they're registered in Zoom, then they also, I get a Bonjoro notification, and that shows up directly on my phone. It says, hey, send so-and-so a Bonjoro, because they've given me their email address. And the Bonjoro is, hey, Eric, I just want to say welcome. Congratulations on getting registered for the webinar. It's going to be a blast. Here's what we're going to cover. It's a personalized video greeting to you. And then inside of the Bonjoro app, I can check who's opened those and who actually clicked through to view the message. I'm still using the free version of this too. So you can get the free version. You don't have to upgrade right away, and it gives you all the basic functionality of sending personalized video messages to people. Great tool, awesome tool to have.
And
And then this, I actually didn't
understand the
finish this
level of
yet, but it was going to go to ManyChat too.
oh, I'm sorry. Understand the level of engagement. It's like I'm not just waiting for you to show up at the Zoom meeting or the webinar. I can go into Zoom and find you and thank you. I'm using this other app to find you and thank you. I'm reminding you days in advance that we're all going to be meeting. So Sean had asked, some gurus say that you should be doing 5 emails just on the final day, like banging on the door, and you notice that you did 1. Is there any reason that you're not more aggressive on the day of closing?
I just personally find it super annoying, so I don't do it.
And I would have to say it probably also overlaps with the idea that because these people tend to be more warmish for you and know you, that you don't want to offend the friendship by begging on that final day.
Yeah, I think you'd get more, like, rather than sending 5 emails, and I didn't set up a texting campaign on this for this one. I'll do that on my next one. But rather than sending 5 emails, find a way to touch that person 5 times in a different way. That could be 1 email, 1 Facebook Messenger message, 1 Bonjoro, 1 text, and 1 something else. I don't even know. Tag them in a post on
Ah,
your group or something.
smart. So by using the Buongiorno, um, alter the way that you're communicating, because some people, for me, text, email, video, etc., all feel very different in different
Yeah.
levels of engagement. I get in trouble when I text people because I go straight to the point because I assume that's the purpose. Other people might find that less warm than a video chat and may respond differently.
I once signed up for a masterclass online that happened weekly on a Monday, and he would always send us an email reminder like, hey, class is about to start. Here's your link. But he would also always send us a Facebook Messenger message from his page that said, hey, the class is about to start. So if I wasn't checking my, because I have my phone on silent all day, I would go nuts if it was on, if it was buzzing at me all day long. So if I'm at my computer and I've got Facebook open and I see this little bling, hey, class is going to start, I go, oh, cool. And I attend class, right? Same principle. Like, you don't know if people are checking their emails. Some do, some don't. At this stage in the game, it's a completely mixed bag. And you're kind of just like hoping people open their email. But if you have 5 different ways to touch after the event, the likelihood that you'll get through to that person is that much higher. So that's what's happening. I mean, you see these messages online that are like, email is dead, texting is dead, chatbots are dead. Like, none of it's dead. Even postal mail is still a viable marketing source if you do it right. But strategically, we should all have multiple channels that we're communicating through and targeting people with.
I think that's, as Sean said, Sean's your star student tonight, just so you know. He's from Ohio. That makes it even better. Um, that's gold. And I think the big point to take away is, yes, you could do 5. I'm reading his comments. You can do 5 in a day, but don't do 5 of the exact same thing.
Oh yeah.
If you want to do 5 a day, then figure out different ways of communicating the same message with a different attitude, a different feel to get them in the room. And I get it from Brendan Bouchard. He'll send me an email at the top of the hour, and then 30 minutes before coaching or before the session, he sends out the text. And then at 50, so he moves from, I know you've got time to check the email, to time is running out and I know you'll probably act more urgently, to a text or a Facebook message. So as the clock gets closer, I use those tools to engage you.
Yep, you got it.
I'm checking, oh, John Wayne just walked, yeah, the John Wayne Mullis. Checking on messages. Anything else you want to share? Because I find your time like invaluable. So I could keep you here until tomorrow when your webinar starts. What else do you need to teach them so that they get over this I can't do it thing, and I don't have Kajabi, and my life won't work because I don't know how to set up all of these triggers and all of this stuff?
Yeah, I would say
you found me.
if you're on the fence and you haven't built anything yet, just pick one. And for me, it was Kajabi, because on Black Friday last year, they sent me a message that was like, here's our Black Friday special. And I was like, I just need to pick one. And I just picked Kajabi, and I just moved forward with it. So pick one, whatever it is, preferably an all-in-one platform. Pick it and start building on it. Like, the best thing you can do is get in there and take a look at it and familiarize yourself with it. Hey, here's the page builder. Hey, here's the blog. Hey, here's the products that I'm offering. Hey, here's my offers, right? Simplified. Here's my marketing portal. Hey, here's my people, like my list. It's got everything that you need. So yeah, I mean, that's the best advice I can give you at this point is pick one. And if it's Kajabi, send me a message, reach out to me. Do we have the chat box up somewhere, right? Where's the chat?
You're really good at testing me. Yeah, there's a chat box. It's open.
Hold on, let me
I
see.
know we posted a link on how to get directly with you in the comments, but if you want to do it again here.
Oh yeah, that won't show up in.
No, because we're on Facebook. So
Oh, that's right. Oh.
Yeah, but we'll put it in the comments. One of the things I want to tell you, and this is like me confession time. So up until a certain point, I had both ClickFunnels, Kajabi, landing page, Drip, and there was something else. Webinar Ninja.
Yeah.
Something else. Like I had 4 different. Like I had the entire garage full of cars and hadn't gotten my driver's license. I owned it all. And the problem was I kept trying to figure out, like, how do I make them all work together in a happy little thing? And again, through you and through just sheer economics, I was like, okay, I could probably use 10 products when I have 10,000 clients. Yeah. But if I can't manage it with pen and paper and I've only got maybe 10 or 20 clients, then there's a problem with my business systems, not with the technology.
Yeah.
So getting rid of all of the technology and saying, what is it I want my clients to experience? I want them to find me. I want them to connect to me. I want them to show up at a meeting with me, a webinar. I want them to really have an awesome experience. And then I want them to move through the process of staying engaged, whether it's a group, whether it's a one-on-one, or whether it's a membership site, which can be done just the same way as you're doing these. I own Kajabi. If you decide to buy it, both Brendan and I can be affiliates for you. Never pass up that chance, right? You have your affiliate code?
I do, yeah.
So you can pick. It's not that we're pushing it, but what I say is I overcomplicate sometimes what I want to accomplish, because I think we all do this as coaches and as speakers and as people that influence. We believe in what we want to do. We just don't believe we're the person that can do it. And so we search out technologies and tools and widgets and gadgets and ClickFunnels and lead pages and all of this stuff, thinking if we get enough of it, then our product will look really good, but we never get to launching our product. This one system. And this is why I really was excited about having Brandon show you that he created his landing page, his email sequence, his actual training, all within the same tool. And everything that he had to supplement was free from using, well, you upgraded the Zoom.
Right. Yeah. But
Which
that
was
you do that way later. You do that way later.
But then again, it's $40 a month. So you don't have to take on the burden of $40 for 12 months. You take it on during the month you're hosting your webinar, and then you drop back down.
Exactly. I upgraded 30 days before the webinar.
Yeah. And then you,
Because I was like, well, now I need it. Before
yeah.
I didn't need it.
How do you think this is being done? I have the free Zoom. And then tonight it was like, oh, I need to upgrade long enough to fling it to Facebook. Understand that the goal is for you to get your product out there so that you can begin to make an impact in the world, and then begin to make money so that you can keep making a bigger and bigger impact into the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say this, just as we kind of wrap, unless there's other questions, as we kind of wrap up, like anybody who's watching this, feel free to connect with me on Facebook, on Messenger. I'm in the group, Your Success Life, and you can find me pretty easily on Facebook. It's facebook.com/BE Hofer, Hofer, and send me a friend request, send me a message. I'm happy to chat with you if you want me to take a look at what you've got right now and make some recommendations for some things you can put into play like right away, to take a step forward from wherever you're at right now. Like, what's the very next step for me? I'll jump on a call with you. I'll give you some insight and just help you take that step.
Sean, once again, Sean, yes, we'll be sending you a thank you card for co-hosting, or a Starbucks card. They have a free 28-day trial right now for Kajabi.
Yes, they
So
do.
you
Yeah.
could literally spend the next 28 days locked in your basement doing what all of this is, launch your class, earn enough money to turn around and buy the product.
It's perfect. And I mean, if you're doing it right and you've got a one-on-one coaching program and you're launching at, anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000, you just go, I just need that one client. That one client is going to more than fund this tiny software expense, right? $200 a month. Sometimes you go, oh, that's a lot of money. But then it's like, wait, I'm spending $200 a month so that I'm empowering myself to create new $5,000 clients. Like, to me, that's a pretty good trade-off.
Yeah. And I think it's a good deal. I'm just checking to see if there were any more comments. So Marie's been on the fence way too long. She's time to dive in.
There you go. Do it.
John Wayne is here. He hasn't said anything. I like his name. That's all. A lot of people are asking if this will be available in replay. And I'm going to tell you guys, I did not get permission prior to, and so I could not promise it to you. This is Brandon's. I mean, this is what he teaches in his group coaching.
Oh yeah, everybody can have it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's what I wanted. I want you guys to have this on replay. And
I think that this can be available. We'll find a way to make it available for like the next 7 days for you guys. But if we, as we all know, if we leave it up for indefinite, then you're not going to take the action to begin to create the change in the world you want. I have watched a similar video with Brendan now like 10 times, and I've got like buckets of notes. Can I have you show one more thing? I know I could keep your.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Go to your website. I keep doing this, like pointing on the screen like you see it. Go to your website thing, your top Kajabi.
The tab here?
Yeah. I just want him to see how simple the front image is, that it's not overly complicated. Can you, or just go to the real front page, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah,
not
this
the
is
editing one, just the preview of it.
This is what my homepage used to look like built in Kajabi. So I built my homepage in WordPress more recently, but when I first started out, I did have a Kajabi-based homepage, and here's what it looked like. Still very simple. Hero section, couple of testimonials, meet your coach. Again, the system here, program overview, and then a call to action.
Do you get this? Everybody get this. None of the course is visible, or for all the consumer knows, there is no course behind this. This is really, I like teaching these 5 things in this order, and this is what we'll cover. If this appeals to you, call to action, and your call to action takes them to a contact with you so you can discuss the options, correct?
Yeah, I definitely don't recommend putting a menu of courses on your homepage.
And
I know some people do that, but unless you have massive traffic going to that homepage, it doesn't really serve your ends.
but even when you go down to your products,
You mean on the back end here?
yeah,
Oh yeah.
you
Products.
only have, I can't remember if it's 4 products.
Yeah, and right now I'm only selling these 2.
So notice that the course is either one-on-one or group. I think I have it. Yeah. That the same process, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So the same process, the same system. I have 2 ways you can engage with me, either in a group mode or in a one-on-one mode. And I have 2 ways of paying for it in each of those. That's all I do. That's all I am. Don't confuse me. My mistake initially was everything I wanted, I created and put up on Kajabi, but I had prices from $9.99 to $5,000. What does that say to the person coming to that page? Well, I'm just going to engage with you at the $5 level forever and never even experience the better, bigger value because there's such a disparity. If you narrow the options, then you refine the people that you get to engage with, and you get to engage with them at a much higher and consistent level. One of the things I like that Brandon has told me is, if you want to do those 49 classes, do them as a one-off. Do them out there on a webinar, a sign-up page, the same thing as he's doing for tomorrow night, but don't make them part of your storefront forever.
Yeah.
Give them away later as part of a sign-up for something bigger.
And that's actually the topic of the webinar is how you build your value ladder from the top down, meaning you start with that high ticket one-on-one coaching offering, then you add a group coaching mid ticket, then you add a low ticket automated course. Most people are trying to do it from the other way around.
Yeah, and that's really out of fear.
Right.
And then at the same time, a lot of people are like, well, I'm not signing up because I don't want to bother pulling out my wallet for $4.99. I don't want to go through the hassle of buying a $4.99 product. It's almost like, if I only have to go to the grocery store for one thing, I'll make do without, versus, okay, I really need this and this looks like a value. I'm making the commitment. Here comes my credit card.
Yeah.
I'm sure Brandon, I am on your page. How come, how to sign up? Marie, we'll connect you afterwards. Asking you your height and weight. Oh, probably because you're not on his coaching program. You're probably on his fitness page. You have something on your sign up page for the fitness one about height and weight?
No. What site are you on?
I don't know. Marie, we'll take care of you directly. Only because it's too hard to decode when I've got 3 screens in my face. Remember, I'm the slow guy in the group. You guys, if there's nothing else, you've got a countdown clock of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, so to speak, to drop me a comment, drop me a question. Again, Brandon, you're amazing. You're honestly, the amount of stuff that you dump so freely and so willingly, I now understand why you think of it as an ecosystem of nurturing and caring and growing other people as part of your passion. It's really the only way to do business ethically.
Totally.
Profitably. Yeah.
So, and I mean, a lot of this stuff is like, sure, it can take a while to learn how to do it, but to share the big picture strategic overview, it doesn't cost me anything. I'm basically just sharing, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I find works for me. Here's why it's working. And it's what I teach all my students too.
Yeah. And so I'm going to just check in some comments. Great content. Thank you both. Everybody is just thinking like you're the best. You're just phenomenal, great content. How do I follow up? How do I engage? Et cetera, et cetera. They're begging for the replay. So well done. Well
Well,
done.
this is it's on your personal page, right?
Yes,
Or is
they
it
have to
on
come
your
to
personal?
but
I was gonna say I'll follow up
I'll make
on
sure I get you a
with the
copy as
comments
well.
on your page.
Yeah. Just watch for the feedback that may pop up when you get there. So
Cool.
cool. All right. Well, I thank you for being our first. There's Sean. He's got one more question. Oh, he said the 28-day may not be available. So, but they rotated. You guys don't panic. And if you call them directly, I'm sure they'll be happy to give you the free 28-day trial with Kajabi.
Sean, I've got a link for 28-day free trial if you want. I can send it your way.
Perfect. I thank you for being our first Wisdom Wednesday guest. I think
Yeah, you're welcome. It was my pleasure.
New. We're going to now have to move on to Pinterest and Instagram and LinkedIn and all of these other tools to build a life of, to build a business of success. But you know, I'm going to be downloading this like 10 times over the next couple days. You've caused me to totally tear apart what I'm going to be bringing forth into the universe in the next month.
Good to hear it.
Yeah, like I told you, that discovering your story and writing your story, even if you don't want it published, you need to have that story of your journey in order to begin to market and produce yourself. So yeah. Finishing that up in the way that you have told me to go.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you. Everybody else, I'll be seeing you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern for another Success Life Live. In the meantime, if you need Brandon, we're going to make sure that you get links all posted up and down throughout this feed. And then sometime tomorrow, we'll announce how you can watch it replay, but only for a limited.
Cool.
Does that work for you, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Put the children into bed. Give them their nighttime story.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.